Please enjoy Matt and Emma.
Two out of two is, you know it's 4 without having to think about it. You just know automatically, instinctively, without being able to explain why, that the answer is 4. It's what Daniel Kahneman would call System 1 thinking. And this is in opposition to System 2, which is slow thinking. So if I ask you what 157 times 24 is, unless you get your iPhones out, I doubt any of you can tell me, you'd have to actually think about it deliberately and work through it and analyse it and work out the answer. Slow's alright, I mean, clients like it, you can talk about it, you can analyse it, you can sit down with them, explain graphs and data and all this kind of information to them. It's great, but it's pretty dull, really.
Steve's Law can explain this to us a little bit more. Don't worry, I'm not going to speak about this guy. But I'm going to speak about the Gutenberg principle. I'm sure we all know about the Gutenberg principle, but this is the guy that's in Police Academy. This is most of his career. And as you can see, he's worked pretty much in the same franchise the whole of his career. And you can see it's diluting. Each of these films that have come out progressively after this have been worse. They've made less money. They cost less, but it makes a business sense to do that. And it's got to number 7, and now it made a £9.5 million loss. So it's not the way you should really do things. Police Academy 8 is coming out next year, you'll be pleased to know. Whereas the Steven Spielberg principle, which is slightly different, thinking fast, and this is coming from the Sugarland Express, which came out in 1974, to Jaws, his big break, which made him a multi-millionaire, put him on the pedestal and made him someone that someone was really expecting to be a really successful director. But Universal offered him to do Jaws 2, and he denied it. He said no, he doesn't want to do that, and instead did Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And this was based on a story when he was 16 years old called Firelight. And this is the kind of guy he is. He goes for risks and doesn't go for the Gutenberg principle. He thinks fast, fast can be better. But why don't we always do this?
Because we're scared, we're risk averse as people. We like to be able to justify and explain. So even if we have that fast thought, we tend to override it with our slower, more deliberative thinking. So we like to rationalise and overanalyse things. And this can be good because if we take all of these ideas here and we think so, we can wipe out all of these, almost surefire losses.
But as we can see in the Dragon's Den, testing can be good. So we've had these things chopped out that the founders shouldn't have really spent any more time on. So you've got the Q-top, which is something that keeps your cucumber fresh once you've eaten part of it in the fridge. And the driving glove, which reminds you what side of the road to drive on when you're abroad. Something they shouldn't have really spent any more time on, so it's good that testing kind of got rid of these.
And think about lunch. So many of us, certain people, go to Pret and get the pretty much same sandwich every single day. And this is a really good example of playing it safe, because sandwich, it's a lunch food, it's not expensive, it's not the best culinary experience of our entire lives, but it satisfies us. It's easy and it's just low risk, it's safe. And it prevents us having to experience things like this. But it may also prevent us having amazing discoveries such as this beautiful looking sandwich. So we end up creating this comfort zone for ourselves. We might wipe out the surefire losses, but we can also wipe out some of these, statistic, rationality-defying discoveries.
So if we always did this, we'd prevent these good things. Coming back to the Dragon's Den thing, these are things that were turned down at the Den. You've got Wine and Cup, which is in all major supermarkets now, making a good profit, and Trunky, which I'm sure most parents know as that suitcase for children they can ride on, they can have fun with. Two very good ideas that were turned down and something that wouldn't have otherwise been known about if we always relied on testing. And you wouldn't have guys like Richard Branson. So he's done things like Virgin Vodka, but then he may have not had trains without experiencing what he had done with that loss. Or Virgin Cola may not have been planes. Or he might have just learned not to go into the drinks market. But it's learning from these downfalls and realising how you can improve on your next venture. And in our industry, things like AMV's surfer ad. This is something that's been considered one of the best adverts of our times. And it's something that came out really bad in testing and probably wouldn't have happened if we did rely instinctively on that. It's going with our gut and understanding that that's something that could be successful.
So sometimes we just know without knowing. We have that eureka moment. You can't explain it. It's impulsive, it's intuitive, and it's automatic. You just know. So faster thinking can be good. So don't let slow stand in the way.